Whether you believe in climate change or not, more and more futurists are predicting a U.S. and global world deeply impacted by climate change and restrictions on travel to combat it. In fact, experts suggest our standard of living could be reduced by over 85%. This new video report looks at the future of travel for Americans in the face of growing climate change concerns by many. A recent report on the future of travel and tourism, co-authored by a travel agency named Intrepid Travel and the Future Labs Institute, concluded that travel may never be the same in the U.S. and in the rest of the world. They now warn of travel extinction, where some areas suffer such radical climate change that all tourism ceases. Also, they predict that travel will require personal carbon allowances that will restrict how often we're permitted to travel. This report looks primarily at tourism, but we also can wonder how carbon reduction will also impact private car ownership and usage as well. That may be a separate program of mine sometime later. The two futuristic institutions who released this report say that by 2040, a personal carbon emissions limit will become the new normal as policy and people's values change. For the tourism industry, the frequency today at which people fly on airplanes is seemingly unlimited. People feel free to hop on planes from one place to the next. But this will change, they say, because of a coming pushback against the frequency of travel's overall carbon footprint. They also say that personal carbon allowances could help curb emissions by lowering travel. Intrepid Travel and the Future Labs Institute said that carbon passports will force people to ration their carbon. The tourism report suggested that individuals should currently limit their carbon emissions to 2.3 tons each year, the equivalent of taking a round trip from Rio de Janeiro to Saudi Arabia. Right now, though, the average carbon footprint in the U.S. is 16 tons per person per year, 15 tons in Australia, and 11.7 tons in the UK. By 2040, carbon footprint reduction experts say that future traveling and tourism require your carbon emissions to line up with your energy usage, give or take a relatively narrow band of efficiencies. And short of some kind of clean energy breakthrough, travelers will have to forego many tourism experiences, like we've been accustomed to up until now. Proponents of reducing countries' standard of living to meet future carbon reduction needs are recommending the following carbon reductions. The U.S., 86%, UK, 80%, Australia, 85%, and Canada, 85%. These levels of degrowth will satisfy the objectives of climate alarmists, and the accompanying standard of living quotas will no doubt hurt citizens to not only travel like they want, but to be controlled by many presumed experts. Intrepid Traveler and the Future Labs Institute are forecasting that when climate change worsens, people won't be chasing the sun like they do now, but they instead will be seeking shade as destinations, since future warmer locations could be rendered inhospitable with rising temperatures. Daryl Wade, chairman of Intrepid Travel, said moving from crisis to transformation, however, will not only involve meaningful intervention, but also education and ethics. He continued, one of the problems with tourism at the moment is that it is the opposite of regenerative. It's now extractive, and this cannot continue much longer. Mr. Wade wants to align, collaborate, and accelerate collective action that quickly decarbonizes travel. That only then can our industry truly achieve its huge potential for sustainable development. The report claimed that the public is now on board, demanding regenerative transformation of the travel and tourism industry. How do you feel about this pro-climate change study? As I mentioned, automobiles will probably be next to change course. We'll see. This is H.A. Graves.